swam in those oceans. Forgive me for that, and forgive me also for knowing that Tamil is among those very few ancient languages of this world which is still surviving, a great language, but not knowing Tamil myself. But I thank my stars that I know the ocean is there and the ocean is there. And I thank my stars that I know that Tamil has stood in the history of Indian civilization like the polar star. I am very grateful that I was invited here. I was told by a friend that there is a popular song that you may conceal 1,000 or 1,000,000 hands, but you cannot conceal the sun. So when I got this call, and I was told that progressive writers are meeting here, as an English poet would have said, my heart lifts up with great joy when I see a rainbow in the sky. My heart lifts up when I see a rainbow in the sky. When I heard of progressive writers coming together, I felt very excited. I felt delighted. And believe me, almost like a dead rising from the grave, I felt that I was coming back to life again in this country where speech is becoming a crime, where freedom of speech is becoming the luxury and a thing of the past, and where dignity and glory of a language outside the northern languages is seen as an exception. In such a country, I felt that if writers, progressive writers are coming together, it is a moment for celebration, not just for Chennai, Tamil Nadu, but for the entire country. I want to congratulate all of you for that. I said, what shall I do by coming here? I have spent my life for several decades working with amidst Adivasis. I have been quietly documenting languages in the country. What will I do by coming here? And I was told that I should speak about the politics of language, or language and politics. Let me begin by saying that we are humans. I am not talking of Tamilians, only Indians or Asians. Humans, the Homo sapiens, is one of the millions of species in existence. But what sets us apart from all other species is that we have language. Some children once said to me, no uncle, they call me uncle. No uncle, even fish of some kind speak, and honeybees speak through their dance, and birds speak. I said, yes, they do speak, they also have language, but they cannot speak about absent things. They cannot use the past tense in language. They cannot use the future tense. They cannot express what does not exist in presence before them. But humans can. Humans can talk about the past, about things which are absent, and thereby humans actually create time T capital cause of vast amount of time humans can create. And because we can name those very distant things like stars, I named just a little ago Mount, Everest or depth of ocean. We can create space through language. And it is by bringing this vast time and space together in our language, we create a world very distinct from the world views that other species may be having. It is therefore that I can say with confidence that language alone makes us human, not our bodies. It is language that sets us apart from all other animal species. Therefore, language is of central importance for our existence, for who we are. It is with that in background that let me talk of three kinds of politics related to language. One is politics about language. Second is politics around language. And third is politics within language. So let me give one example of politics about language. In 1870s, the colonial government made a decision to remove Persian from official use. And in its place, they suggested either English or any other regional Indian language which is used in a specific region. Now this use of Persian existed in the country, in the subcontinent, nearly for 300 years. Even when Shivaji Maharaj from Maharashtra wrote letters to Aurangzeb, he used the Persian language. Removing Persian was a political decision because the British wanted the Marathas to be pleased by introduction of Marathi in schools. They wanted Bengalis in Bengal presidency to be pleased by introduction of Bangla in schools. And likewise, it was here, Tamil and Kannada and Malayalam. This was a political decision. This was language, this was politics about language. But this was not about language per se. This was not about Persian, about Marathi, about Bengali. This was simply about how the British power could be sustained. And yet, it had some linguistic merit because indeed Persian teachers were becoming rarer in those days. And for a variety of reasons, this decision was made. I will now turn to another kind of politics related to language. Every 10 years we have census in this country. In 1961 census, the number of mother tongues recorded in the census was 1,652. 10 years later, in 1971, the number of mother tongues recorded in the census went down. Only 109. So in 61 you have got 1,652 mother tongues. 10 years later, the mother tongues are brought down to 109. More than 1,500 mother tongues were wiped out of the Indian census. A political decision. What was the criterion? The criterion was, if a language is spoken by less than 10,000 persons, it need not be recorded in the census. Not scientific. Even 2 persons is enough to make a language a language. In Andaman, if there are, let's say, 500 Onges speaking the Onge language with the others, it still remains that language. Your Tanjore Marathi variety, if it is spoken by, let's say, less than 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs, it will still remain a language variety. This decision was a political decision. And that politics was triggered in the 1970s because of Bangladesh getting separated from Pakistan. And so Indian government was worried that India also will have linguistic separatism coming up. This decision was quite different from the decision related to renewal of Persian. Because this decision had absolutely no scientific or factual basis at all. This was purely guided by political considerations. I will now come to another. Soon after independence, the country decided to appoint a linguistic reorganization commission. And so linguistic states were created. Now the linguistic states were created out of political expediency. India had become independent and there were districts and there was some form of governance which India had inherited. But linguistic states emerged because of people's desire and movements and agitations coming from the people. Here in Tamil Nadu, in Karnataka, in Maharashtra, in Gujarat, in Punjab, in Bengal, in Orissa, in every place in the country, people were saying that we want our state identity in terms of our language identity. That was accepted. Now, politics around language sometimes emerges because of government's desire and at other times because of people's desires. It is not every time because people want something, and it is not everything because power wants something. But this is politics not about language, it is around language. Finally, I also want to mention a third dimension of politics related to language, and that is politics in language. I have got 2 mother tongues. One is Marathi, the language in which Ambedkar was born. The other is Gujarati, the language in which Gandhi was born. There are also other Gujaratis, but I am not concerned with those. In both these languages, I have seen for decades together that only the people who speak